It's a special day for Metro in central London as we head along to the UK's first LGBT+ affirmative retirement housing with one very special guest.
Hi, I'm Michael Marouli and I'm here today at Tonic Care, the only LGBTQ+ care home in the UK. And I've got a huge surprise for the residents. I mean, come on. What do I expect from an LGBTQ+ care home? There's going to be queens dancing and singing. We don't go down without a fight, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be fabulous. And it's the stories that I'm so interested in hearing, the lives these people have lived, especially the older generation, you know, who've lived through some of the worst times that our community's faced, and just to hear where they've come from. But with it being an LGBTQ+ care home, I guarantee they're all going to have that naughty little sense of fun and humour and just the zest for life that we all just inherently have as queer people. Yeah, let's do this.
With Michael glammed up, it's now time to do the same for two of Tonic's own.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Let's do
Fingers
this.
crossed.
Very excited.
So how did you get started?
I came here because it's the very first LGBT retirement community in the UK. There's nothing else like it. And I've been working in housing for, 30 years, but while I've been working in LGBT housing, everybody's been talking about it. Where's our retirement community for the LGBT+ people? And the United States have got some, Sweden's got some, Netherlands, Spain, Italy, so the UK's been far behind.
I split up with my partner, who I've been with quite a long time, just before the pandemic.
Right.
So then pandemic came along, which was really weird, living in town, because there was nobody there. And I just happened to get into my inbox a note from Tonic saying they're having an open day. And I was only, I think I was about 54 at the time, so I was like not quite old enough, but came to see it anyway. And had a good look around. I was like, wow, this is fantastic what they're doing here. Met some of the residents and thought, yeah, I could really live with these people. And I just thought, do you know what, I'm young. I mean, I'm 57 now,
Yeah.
but I just
That
thought,
is young.
it's still quite young, still working. And I just thought, you know, I just want to be around people, really. Don't want to live on my own.
Yeah.
And so this is like the perfect thing, because you can live on your own in your own apartment, but we have great stuff like this to do.
Yeah, so in a couple of years we've grown the community, so now it's a mixture. There's single people, couples. We've got 19 apartments. We call ourselves a retirement community, but not everybody's retired. Some people are still working. And we've got a mixture of ages. Our youngest is in their 40s, so they can live here because their partner's over 55.
Right.
And our oldest is, 88.
Wow.
And it's incredible. It's just amazing to see the first community being built.
I think what's nice is we're kind of challenging stereotypes of older living, because you know, this is not an old people's home. It's, you know, it's like later living, really. And
Because it does have that stigma, doesn't it?
it does, and you know, especially for me, only being in my 50s, I thought, God, you know, I'll never pick up on a Saturday night if I live in a old folks home. But but you know, it's not really, as you've seen, it's not really like that.
I mean, one of the reasons we set it up is because there's so many dreadful experiences from older LGBT people, getting abuse, harassment from care staff.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we started. We wanted to give people a safe place to live, somewhere where they would feel safe, but also where they would be celebrated.
Yeah.
Because there's so many lonely LGBT older people out there.
Absolutely.
They've lost their partners perhaps, or their friends. They may not have contact with their family, so they move here and they create this community that they're living in, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It really, really is.
Yeah. So some people might want to stay where they're living. Some people might be living in, you know, sheltered housing or a care home. But wherever they are, to the staff, if you've got care staff coming into your home, if you've got care staff where you're living, they all need to be aware that LGBT older people shouldn't be ignored, and they are not invisible. but that we've got to be celebrated. And if you're an LGBT older person, you don't have to hide your identity if you've got a care worker coming in, because that's often what happens. People hide the pictures, they hide the pictures of a partner, or they hide magazines that might identify them because they're frightened of what the response might be. So if we can get everyone who's older and LGBT safe and they feel celebrated, and hopefully, a lot more Tonic Housings, so that would be our dream.
So how old were you when you actually came out?
Well, sort of in stages. I was probably about 19 when I kind of came out to friends and family. I was 26 properly. I remember the phone number for Gay Switchboard from the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, I remember phoning, it was the first time I'd ever said out loud I was gay. I phoned them up, 01837 7324, I can still remember the number.
That's hilarious.
Like the old dialy phones,
Oh, I need to tell Peter that, you'll love that.
And I just phoned them up, and whoever was on the other line, I just said I'm gay and put the phone down.
Bless you.
Just like needed to tell someone.
Yeah.
I would have been like 14, I think, or something, 13.
God, it was just such a different time, wasn't it?
No, it was. My mum asked me when I was 19, and I said I wasn't sure. So she said, oh, your problem is you think too much. She said, you need to get a hobby. She said, why don't you go and play badminton? So it's like, am I going to be gay or play badminton?
So I went to study in a religious college and studied there for 3 years, and then went to work in the church for a year, and then that's when I started to think about my sexual orientation. I was 26, I think, when I came out and realised actually I need to come out and be honest with myself. So
26?
Yeah, so I actually went back to Belfast to study at the university there, and that's when I sort of began to meet other LGBT people, and they gave me the confidence to then actually come out to my family, and actually my family were absolutely fine with it, so
really?
It just goes to show. You're frightened of it, but actually they were absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Growing up in the 70s, East Midlands, and early 80s. The atmosphere, you didn't want to say you were gay back then.
The 80s?
The 80s, yeah, my era.
What was that like, living through the whole AIDS crisis?
It's a Sin really captured what it was like, because you had this like two worlds. You had all the discovering the gay scene and, all the thrill of being in your your early 20s, late teenage, early 20s and all that, the excitement and all that brought with it. But at the same time, it had this like undercurrent around HIV and AIDS, the whole Tombstone campaign that's become a bit negatively iconic. It put the fear of God into you, really. You just assumed because you were gay, you had it because you didn't know enough about it.
Of course.
So it was a really scary time because in some ways, sex equaled death.
Yeah.
That was the kind of mantra, and people just my age or slightly older were dying. That trauma stayed with me of that time. So I live now with complex PTSD, which I manage and live with, and it's okay. But it's the trauma of that time sort of stuck with me.
Of course.
Gosh, this was the late 90s. Yeah, late 90s. So. And that's where I met a boyfriend, and that didn't go too well. There was domestic abuse involved. I was in A&E for a while and had to flee that and move into sleep on someone's sofa. So that really did waken me up, because when that happened, I didn't realise that there were LGBT charities out there that helped people who were experiencing domestic abuse or homeless and LGBT. So it was actually only after that I managed to find somewhere safe to live, then I found out about the charities like Stonewall Housing. And that's when I realised that actually, there are LGBT charities out there trying to help people who are either homeless or at risk of homelessness. And then when the job came up around LGBT housing, I thought, wow, it's just a perfect fit. Got a bit of experience around housing and LGBT as well, so it just was great. So. And then it's just sort of landed me in Tonic Housing, which is
Here
fantastic, yeah.
So when the pandemic happened back in 2020, we've already been through our own pandemics in some ways, but that legacy kind of lives on, and obviously now it's very different having HIV, and we have prophylaxis treatment and all the meds, thank God. But it was a shame. It was people died of shame, I think. They were just ostracised from their families and stuff. And it was a really, really difficult time. But it was fabulous at the same time as well. That was the weird thing.
That's the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we partied so hard because, in spite of it, it was like an outlet for us. So, we didn't sort of sit at home moping. It actually made us more determined to enjoy the moment, really, I think.
And now you're at Tonic.
And now I'm at Tonic. So I'm going to grow old disgracefully, I think.
I knew you'd be the naughty one. I asked Bob if there was a naughty one.
Yeah, got a little naughty streak in me.
There should be more of these places, that's what we're hearing. So
absolutely, like the fact you're the only one.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's so many. I mean, we've got about 500 people on our register. We only have shared ownership here, so our next step, hopefully in July, we'll open our rented apartments. But most of the people on our register want rented accommodation because it's so expensive for older LGBT people to live in London with a private rented market, which is pricing them out, and they're being evicted by landlords. So we'll have a small number rented, and then hopefully we can grow that over the next year or so.
It's so good that there's people like you in the world.
Well, and you. I mean, it takes all of us, doesn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
The people are doing, maybe charity work, if you call it like that, but also people are doing your work, the entertainment. We need both sides. Our community is made out of laughter, but it's also made out of love. So how do you get the two together?
Yeah. The makeup's done. You're about to see it for the first time. How are you feeling?
Nervous, excited. Yeah.
Let's count it down. In 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh my God. That's amazing. That is like a different person. It's incredible. That is a completely different person.
Can you believe it?
That is amazing. The lips are moving and my words are coming out, but I don't know who that is. That is amazing.
Right then, babes, are you ready to say?
I am. Show me.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Oh my God. I quite fancy myself.
There she is.
She's arrived.
Right, we've got the makeup on. Shall we find something to wear?
Let's do it.
Come on. After you. Right then, here she is, the big reveal. Please welcome Tonica!
Ta-da! It's amazing. Feels so different.
You come alive.
It's like a new, honestly, it's a starlit look with the glam rock experience. Absolutely beautiful.
How do you feel?
Amazing. I've never felt like this before. It's incredible.
Power
Thank you so much.
You look amazing. Yay!
Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you very much.
Right, here she is, number 2. Makes a noise with pink gin.
Ta-da! Mwah. My God, this is amazing. I tell you, what a transformation. I love it. I love it. I think I'm going to go out later like this. Sod it. I love it.
Welcome to today's mother of Tonica Lewinsky and Pink Gin, Drag Race superstar Michael Marouli.
I feel on top of the world. I've had the best day. I literally have. Like, just seeing the transformation in the two of them. And they've come to life. and you see the switch. I encourage everyone to try drag at some point in your life, because seeing the switch, I think there's something special about a more mature gentleman trying drag in the LGBTQ community, because they suppressed it for so long, and when they were growing up it was so taboo. So yes, they might have liked feminine things, they might have liked movie stars, but they kept it hidden. And now at this age they're in a safe space, they're in this gorgeous community here at Tonic, and to experiment with it, I saw the light go on in both of their eyes. And the first thing that Bob said was, it reminds me of my neighbour who used to dress like a starlet. So that's Bob's idea of what femininity was, and that higher power that drag gives you. And look at her now, she's literally embodied it, took it on, and that's what it's all about. Literally, a star is born. I've created a monster. My job is done.
Quite blown away, actually. I thought it was amazing. It's like you just become like a different person. You take on this persona. Saw myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, is that me?
I was a bit anxious, I think, to begin with, because I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to look like? Am I going to look like a pantomime dame? But actually, it's mind-blowing. It made me look like a starlet. It's just glamorous, it's fantastic.
This should be nationwide, not just one place as a care home. And Bob's not going to stop until it happens. And now that she's Tonica, God knows where it's going to go.
I'm just in awe of what they do. I mean, I've always loved Drag Race, and I've always thought it's fabulous, but just seeing what they go through with the outfits, the makeup, the performance, just such a lot. I'm just in awe of it, really. I just think, wow, hats off to them.
I knew I'd be blown away by his performance, and I knew he's been so lovely with everybody here. People have got different sort of levels of needs, and they engage with things differently, but Michael's been so kind and generous during the performance. It was lovely.
I came in with an open heart and open mind, but again, there is preconceived notions about what a care home is, and it's nothing like what you think. And I can't wait for the Metro readers to see this and just be educated and look at their own futures and think, wow, there is hope for me. It's fabulous. Look at what they did tonight. There was a lovely little community setting, everyone's having fun and having a laugh. What a way to be.
We all have unconscious stuff, bias, to actually just change hearts and minds, really, and open up people to, we're all just trying to get on in the world, really, and live our lives.
It's a sad state of affairs that still, in 2024, we have to live with fear, and some people don't want to broadcast the fact that they belong to a certain community for fear of hate crime or bullying, anything like that. Which, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, is the most stupid, heinous, ridiculous thing. Why, because of your sexuality or your identity or who you are inherently, should you fear for your safety? It's crazy to me. It literally blows my mind.
Well, for me, it just made me really think about what I've been through in my life, really. Going back to the little boy from Derby in the 70s and sitting here today in an LGBT living space, being in drag. I just want to go back to that little boy and give him a hug and go, you know what, it's going to be all right, it's going to be okay.
And it's just so nice to sit and talk to somebody about Tonic Housing, why it's important, why we're here. Mike was so kind and wanting to listen, and it must have been an hour, 2 hours of just talking about that and Tonic Housing, but also really important things like our experience when we were growing up, but also what's it like living as an older LGBT person now, and all of that come out of the conversation while being made to look fabulous was incredible. If you can take away the one message is that we need more Tonic Housings. We need places where older LGBT people feel safe and they are celebrated, because there's too many of us are living in fear or we're hiding who we are. And what we need are more older drag queens, older drag kings, older people who are proud to live like this in retirement communities.
I would move in here tomorrow. I'd be the naughtiest one. I'd cause riots. I'd have everyone having fun every night. But I'd love it.